Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. In today's video, we look back on the season 4 episode where Lori wants to have one last big moment before graduating high school, but is she really going about it the right way? Today's episode is titled Senior Moment. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. In this episode, Lori and her friends try to do some senior year rites of passage before graduation, and all their attempts go up in proverbial smoke. After having a talk with her mom, Lori apologizes to her friends for putting them through everything she felt they needed to do, and they go back to creating their own memories their own way. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. I found this episode to be very relatable in hindsight of my own experiences in high school, and the way Lori felt before graduation is how I felt years after graduating myself. You see, I don't know if anyone else thought the same thing as I was watching the episode, but as a kid, I used to watch a lot of TV shows and movies with high school characters who did all kinds of cool stuff with their friends, like we see Lori and her friends trying to do. As cliche as it all was, I used to think the same cool stuff would happen to me when I got to high school, but the rites of passage never took place, and it felt like I missed out on some very big opportunities. That's pretty much Lori's mentality in this episode, so I was able to relate to what she was feeling and what she felt she had to do. Obviously, unlike Lori as the episode played out, I never attempted any senior pranks or went to any lake parties or any other rites of passage, and looking back many years later, I came to two conclusions. The first conclusion I reached was admitting I didn't make the most of my time in high school and believed I missed out on some very great things, something I still believe to this day. I'll talk about my second conclusion in just a little bit. Now getting back to Lori, the best and most relatable character of the episode, in my opinion, she was worried she would come to regret years later she did high school all wrong. So I guess landing a scholarship to Fairway University doesn't mean jack. To that end, her trying to cram in all those stereotypical rites of passage is completely understandable if you think about it from the perspective of a teenager. Those many failed attempts of hers were the episode's biggest highlights. My personal favorite moments being her piggy prank and her seeing get totally lit up and rather intoxicated on ghost peppers. I also give props to her friends for willingly going along with all these antics for as long as they did. But seriously, Roger needs to switch up his wardrobe if he doesn't want his precious polos to get ruined. Another positive to this episode was Rita. She tells Lori she didn't do high school wrong at all and explains how everyone's high school experience is different. Rita didn't do the rites of passage either, and she and her friends still had a good time. There is no right way to high school, and that's where my second conclusion comes in. Despite not doing anything super exciting during my high school years, I still made good memories with the friends and classmates I had, and it's those same memories I don't regret in the slightest. That's what Lori came to realize as well. After all, she and her friends always had a good time with their Friday night movie tradition and mini golfing, so the fact is Lori was doing high school in her own right way the entire time. Even though Carol and Roger were on board with Lori's plan in the beginning, they had to admit what Lori wanted to put them through was simply not who they were, so maybe those two thought they were doing high school all wrong, at least by their standards. If you think about it, Lori wasn't creating her own genuine memories. She was just copying what a fictional movie was doing, and by reading her facial expressions as the episode played out, you could tell she wasn't having as much fun as she thought she was going to have. In the end, she says what matters the most is spending time with her friends, not trying to turn a swimming pool into gelatin. Although that does sound kinda cool. Now before I give my final thoughts, let's hear what someone else has to say about this episode. Here to give his thoughts on Senior Moment, please welcome one of my good friends who has not only appeared in a previous retro review, but has also provided some of the background music for a few of my videos. Give it up for the one and only Downloads Bacon. Take it away.
Hello everyone, Downloads Bacon here, joining you on this retro review that we are doing here today. Well, one of the first big notes to point out of this episode is actually in the very beginning, Lori and Rita's interactions. I really do enjoy Lori and Rita's interactions in this episode. Something about it feels believable and genuine. I love the idea that they were able to have this little inside joke about the Choco Krispies and how the theater keeps running out of it. It's a good thing that Lori was prepared, sneaking in a little something tasty. And of course I love the exchange that they have at the end, but I'll tackle that in a bit. We have to talk about the second note, the literal greatest teen movie of all time that got 100 lumps on dang potatoes, Senior Year in Gear. Wow, that looked dumb. The movie that is so good, only 3 people went to go see it. Makes sense to me. But if it wasn't for movies like this, then people wouldn't get the idea that they have to do some sort of rite of passage to really make the most out of their senior year. Best senior year ever? Probably the only senior year ever, unless you're going to refer to that day when you guys are super old. What a lame movie to embed such a terrible idea. The next things to note on this is what the course of action will be after seeing said movie that was apparently powerful. We decided to do a bunch of pranks and attend a party that was pretty lame. You even had a guy with the guitar who was about to play his favorite song, Water. Lori and her mom talk it out, and it turns out that she hasn't done a lot of the high school rite of passage or traditions as well. So Lori goes to apologize to her friends about letting this amazing movie influence her to try to do all these things that were fun at first, but started getting worse and worse as they continued. In conclusion, I enjoyed this episode immensely with the relatable subject matter, the fact that we have my favorite character being the star of this episode, and just everything about it. Even the movie I thought was dumb, it was still pretty funny to make jokes about. The lesson and moral of the episode is really good, and really more people should see. There are too many that really believe that you should have accomplished certain things at certain points in your life. Now, that's not true, and you should enjoy life how you want to, at least in the confines of the law, but how this episode tackles it is really good. But my only negative is that there's nothing that's too strong or nothing that's too amazing. There's no super funny joke, there's nothing too grand about it. But with that said, it's still a great episode. So with that said, overall, I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. This was a really strong episode, really good stuff, and I recommend it for anyone who is a fan of the show or needs to hear that lesson.
All right, very well said, Bacon. You made some pretty good points, and hey, props to the background music you recorded for your segment as well. It all sounded great. It was a pleasure having you here, and as always, you're more than welcome to come back anytime to give your thoughts on any Loud House episode, especially one starring Lori. So now, let's get to my final thoughts. Overall, this episode has one of those relatable stories where you can feel one way or another about how you choose or chose to spend your time in high school, and it all comes down to whether you believe your time there was as good as it was going to get, or you might think you missed out on some great things. Lori always had good intentions to make her final few days or weeks of high school feel worth it, and could share those good times with her friends, so I can definitely appreciate that. Her many failed attempts at performing the rites of passage were pretty good, Rita was a voice of reason, and it was great seeing Lori hanging out with Carol since putting their rivalry to an end back in the episode Selfie Improvement. In short, it was a great episode with a great lesson, and it had some great moments, and that's all we could ever ask for. With that said, I give Senior Moment a 9.4 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Senior Moment. As far as I'm concerned, this was the highest point for Lori's character in Season 4, and I'll just say when it comes to the review of her final episode of the season, which also happens to be the finale of said season, it's not going to be quite on the same level as this one here, but that's all for another day. So, as far as this episode goes, what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.